up, all my fight fans? We are fresh off this weekend's fight night. We are fresh off Canelo Alvarez taking on Terence Crawford. We are fresh off Terence Crawford making history and becoming a three-time undisputed champion. Undisputed at lightweight, undisputed at welterweight, and undisputed now at 168 pounds. Guys, we are going to get into it. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about the history that has been made. We're going to talk about the fight. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. So, guys, definitely keep on watching because it is going to be very good. So let's really break this down, shall we? So the fight itself was really good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't something that was like at the edge of your seat. It wasn't like a Gotti Ward or Corrales Castillo, but it was still very entertaining. You know, where you got Terence Crawford going into this fight, we all thought that Terence Crawford was crazy. We all thought that Terence Crawford was not going to be able to do this, not going to be able to withstand the power, the punishment, the weight, and the strength of Canelo Alvarez, being the fact that he is jumping 2 weight classes to get to Canelo Alvarez, but that didn't matter. That didn't matter. You know, Canelo Alvarez, you know, he is definitely the king at 168. He held all the belts. Terence Crawford really wanted to take a chance. And you know what's even more interesting? The fact that Terence Crawford did not have no rehydration clause. He did not have no catchweight clause. It was nothing. I believe Terence Crawford going into this fight may have been on the A side a little bit. So Canelo did too. You know, I think Canelo Alvarez also was on the A side. You got Terence Crawford, who was pretty much the pound for pound #1 in most people's eyes, outside of Alexander Usyk. And then you had Canelo Alvarez, who is the king, the pay-per-view king. You know, the guy, he pretty much brings in the most pay-per-views, is the biggest draw in boxing today. So it was definitely an A1, AB side, or however you want to use it. You know, A plus, A minus, whatever term you want to use. But nonetheless, it was 2 guys fighting at a very high level. And we all thought, again, Canelo Alvarez was going to be way too big, way too strong, way too... his strength was going to be way too much. That was not the case in this fight. Terence Crawford showed us right away that he was able to build up the muscle mass and use that muscle mass and utilize his technique and his boxing skill to really dictate how the match was going on. And that's what he did. In this match, you got Terence Crawford pretty much using his jab, his combinations, and some of his power shots was able to land at Canelo Alvarez at will. Canelo Alvarez really didn't have a whole lot to answer going into that fight. It was still somewhat back and forth. It was still somewhat a bit on Canelo Alvarez doing his best to stay in the fight, but still did not do enough. He did not necessarily bring his A game, in my personal opinion. He did not necessarily show his true best self, or it could be the fact that he is past his best self now. But at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez looked like he fought the way he's been fighting these past few fights. If you look at Canelo Alvarez when he fought Josito Lopez, when you look at it when he fought James Kirkland, Amir Khan, or even when he fought further up against Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant, he really let loose. He really let his hands go. He really was able to be himself, where he threw a lot of combinations. And like I said in a previous video, he was the type of person that when he drew blood, he was a shark. He went after it. These few fights, when he fought John Ryder, when he fought Jaime Munguia, when he fought Edgar Berlanga, when he fought the Charlos, when he fought even this other guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name because the fight was so shitty in his last recent fight outside of Terence Crawford, he's just been this one punch guy. He's been a going for the power shot, ending the night quick type of fighter. He has not been the fighter that's actually going for the knockout anymore, and Terence Crawford knew that going into this. It was still going to be a big question whether or not Terence Crawford was going to withstand the power shots of Canelo Alvarez, but he handled it very well, where he was able to dictate majority of the rounds. Maybe about 3-4 rounds you could give to Canelo Alvarez, landing some good shots, but he never really hurt Terence Crawford. He never really made Terence Crawford back up and say, oh no, I cannot do this no more, or oh no, I'm in trouble. Now Terence Crawford, we knew he has some strength, he has some power, but he was never able to hurt Canelo Alvarez, and that's no fault to his own. Because Canelo Alvarez has been in there with the biggest and the strongest and the baddest dudes on the planet, and nobody was even able to hurt him. No one's been able to drop him. I believe, truthfully, that Canelo Alvarez has the best chin in boxing. Very few people have been able to really hurt Canelo Alvarez. No one's hurt him ever since he fought Matthew Hatton back in the day. way back in the day, probably 10 years ago. That's when he got stumbled a little bit. Other than that, he has not been stumbled. He has not been hurt whatsoever. So no fault to Terence Crawford, but still Terence Crawford was able to utilize the fact that Canelo Alvarez is only throwing power shots. He's only looking for 1 or 2 punch combinations or such, maybe 3 at most. And he was able to dictate the ring. He was able to dictate the pace. He was able to dictate pretty much the whole fight by throwing combinations, by going to the body, by going to the head, by doing his jabs, by going for his straights, by moving around constantly, not running. People get confused when they say he's running as in his body is literally touching the ropes. No, he was in still punching distance for Canelo Alvarez, but he was making Canelo Alvarez really uncomfortable in the fight. Canelo Alvarez wanted him to stay still and just fight, and even when he did that, Canelo Alvarez still had no answer. There was times where Terence Crawford went in there and traded where Canelo Alvarez still had no answer whatsoever. So I don't know if Canelo Alvarez was at his 100% best. To me, it did not look like it. You know, it could be the fact that Terence Crawford just made him look like he was not at his best, or the fact that Terence Crawford maybe underestimated him. But Canelo Alvarez said, maybe Canelo Alvarez underestimated Terence Crawford. That's what I'm saying. But Canelo Alvarez said that he was good, he was fine, he was healthy, he was strong, he felt good. So, you know, at the end of the day, we got to say Terence Crawford beat the very best Canelo Alvarez we have. So, hats off to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is the man. Terence Crawford is legit the king at 168 now. The king of boxing, in my personal opinion, the GOAT. In some ways, it has to be the GOAT. He is up there with Sugar Ray Leonard, with Sugar Ray Robinson, with Muhammad Ali. He has to be. You can literally match him in there with those guys. He's literally that good. He impressed the shit out of me. I cannot understand, I would have never ever saw this fight the way it went down. In my eyes, I felt like Canelo was just going to be too big, too strong, too much experience. But it was nowhere near the case in this fight. Terence Crawford is the man in this fight. Terence Crawford came out great. You know, where most fighters out there would have made the guy come down with the rehydration clauses, where there were so many other dictates. No, Terence Crawford said, I want Canelo Alvarez at his best when he's at his best. Give him the weight he wants. Give him the ring he wants. Give him the gloves that he wants. Give him everything he wants, because I want to beat him when he is comfortable, when he is the man, when he is feeling good. I want no excuses, and that's what he got. He got that Canelo Alvarez, and he beat that Canelo Alvarez. Very few fighters in the history of boxing have been able to do that. You look at all the greats, from Floyd Mayweather to even Oscar De La Hoya to a lot of other great legends in the ring that always had some kind of clauses in there that said the opponent cannot or could not do this or that. Terence Crawford did not do that. That makes him a great legend. 100%. Congratulations to Terence Crawford. Guys, I highly recommend you check out that fight. It was a very good fight. Very entertaining in my personal opinion. Some others might not like it, but that is my opinion, guys. I like to hear yours. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.